From One of One Production Studios, broadcasting from NYC, you are listening to Unexpected Success with your host, Joy.
Hey there, what's up? How are you? So wait, what do you have on right now?
Fela hoodie.
Oh, it looks dope. Is that tie-dye?
Yeah. Well, it's called Unstable Overdye.
Okay.
So that's the process. But yeah, I'm on the what's going on with my computer? I'm actually texting with my production facility as we speak.
Chat. Okay.
As we chat.
I'm going to be DMing you and saying need when that sweatshirt goes into when you're ready to start selling it.
Oh no, it's so I had to push it back because I got a few other projects in front of it that I'm excited about. Like I have a Prince birthday T-shirt coming out.
Oh, that sounds is purple.
I decided not to do the purple.
Okay.
Because, but it has purple in it. It has purple in it.
And when's his birthday?
June 7th.
Perfect. Let's do it. So that's what's next up in the queue.
I got 3 things in the queue.
Okay.
I'm getting feedback now.
No, I'm sorry. I pressed the wrong button. So you have 3 things in the queue, and we'll get to that. So let me just rewind. So I'm not sure, Bobby, if you've watched a lot of our episodes, but essentially, I just want to kind of know how you became great, right? And I know you hate, you're like the humble giant, right? Like you've done so many things, and you're so amazing.
So those type of characters, they feel like oddly extraordinary, like that Kehinde Wiley, if he's painting like that as an adult, right? Like whatever he was doing as a kid probably looked insane.
Right.
Whereas me, I was just one of the other kids in the class that could draw. Right.
That's fascinating. Okay.
Yeah, I still wanted to ride bikes and play baseball and, yeah. I wasn't Beethoven.
Right. But you knew that you could just draw. You could draw, right? But you still looked at the world a little bit different. Yeah. But you still looked at the world a little bit different. Would you say that? Did you know that early, or did you know that as you got a little bit older?
So in doses, right? So like the first T-shirt that I did when I was in high school, I was in a program called Upper Bound, and Upper Bound has a bunch of chapters for students around the country, but in California, let's say they had 50 chapters that were affiliated with different colleges.
Right.
So they had this T-shirt contest because they were kind of warming up. Let's say it was in the spring, and in the summer, kids go away to the college campuses and get immersed in college. And every year, Upper Bound has a summer games. So all the campuses come to one specific campus, and they have like an Olympics. And so the T-shirt contest was to do the T-shirts for all of the chapters for the summer games. So I won this, right?
I know you killed it.
So maybe.
God, humility kills me.
so that was my first T-shirt, right? In 85, 86. And so at the award ceremony, they was like, and Bobby Joseph, he did the T-shirt, blah, 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 come on up. I was the only one in the whole building who wasn't wearing a T-shirt.
That's crazy.
I had on like a Stussy T-shirt or something. Like I was just like,
dog, right?
Right. So I mean, different in that sense. Like, man, I ain't wearing. Everybody got on that. I don't
Right. You always wanted to be kind of different and off the cuff.
Yeah, difficult, probably.
Yeah. That's fine. That works.
Yeah.
All right. And I guess that changes because then I asked, like, so when did you know you were gifted?
Gifted. Eesh.
Or do you realize you're gifted now? Because I see it, but I don't know if I'm always the one that's like, yo, you gotta like tell everybody.
Again, like I tend to like gravitate towards like really kind of pedestrian things to me, right? Like I would just want to go play some basketball. I just want to do, like I want to do some very regular things.
Right.
Here, you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, so I'll cop to that. I'll cop to different or gifted.
Gifted, yeah.
The other day I was thinking about my ability to problem solve in client relationships and vendor client relationships. And what happens is like there'll be the job or the task, or let's say it's for client thing. I'm a creative director and it's visual assets, taglines, things like that. So when they give me the parameter of the thing, over the years, what I've done is I've sharpened the tool of being able to be a on the spot idea generator, right?
Right.
So I remember, I think it was some movie I saw, and I feel like the dudes was solving problems, and his eyes rolled in the back of his head, and he was like, "Bingo, I got it!" Right?
Right.
So that's kind of what I like being that. Right. I'll be in the meetings, and they'll be like, "Well, we want to create this thing for this project," and I'll just be like, roll my eyes, roll it back in my head, and I'm like, "I got it," and I'll just be like, I'll have like 10 concepts.
Wasn't there some kind of movie like that with some character?
Yeah.
Anyway, like it's like it's a gift, right? It's definitely a gift. But I honestly think that everybody on this planet is born with a gift.
For sure. Absolutely.
Everybody, right? Everybody is, right? And so, but I think that I also say, and I said this to you earlier, I think that 95% of the people who have gifts don't utilize them, right? So that's the other piece.
Okay.
So when did you know that you could build a career from your gift?
And that's a slow burn, right? You kind of learn over time. When I got to college,
and where'd you go to college?
San Diego State.
Okay.
San Diego State University. So when I got to college, I was in the graphic design program. And when freshmen in the graphic design program, you have like a tackle box with supplies in it, and you have this big portfolio thing. So you can kind of see who's in the program just because you're the only kid walking on students walking on campus with equipment, right?
Right.
So one day, Daniel Walker and Lloyd Collins, they pulled me aside. They were like upperclassmen, and they was like, "You're in the design program, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they was like, what would you charge to do a T-shirt for us? I was like, so, wow. I mean, I'm kind of speeding through the conversation, but
right. No, but I'm into it, right?
And so that first T-shirt in college, 1989, was Too Black, Too Strong, right?
Wow.
So
which is so applicable to what's going on right now, but I digress. Right.
That's one of the projects that I'm redoing. So like at that time, 1989 was also that was also the year of De La Soul's 3 Feet 9 Rising album, right?
Yes.
So it was also like Public Enemy, and it was that whole movement. So I have this this T-shirt sweatshirt concept tied to that era. Yeah.
So dope. So and when's that When does that launch? Or you don't kind of
that's next few days.
Okay. All right. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting on it. You'll get a DM. Right.
so that was so those successes piled up, right? Like, okay, now I'm a t-shirt dude on campus.
Right. So you said that basically in college you were known as t-shirt Bobby. Was it like what was it?
Yeah, but it was an insult then.
Right.
It was an insult.
So you didn't like that. You weren't into t-shirt Bobby.
It was like calling somebody like, you know, the hot link man, or you know what I'm saying, CD man. It was
right.
it was that. So it was I think it was a mild insult then, but it I mean, you know.
But you embrace what you are, right? Hollis said the t-shirt's coming just in time for Father's Day. Exactly, Hollis. Exactly.
Oh, I got a lot of stuff for Father's Day coming.
All right, dope. And I saw my girl Shauna check in. Hey, Shauna. Anyway, so go ahead.
so here I am, you know, X amount of years later, 31 years later, and I probably done, you know, a few thousand t-shirt designs. So, you know, maybe it worked out, right? Maybe it was some forecast.
It works out. Yeah, no, it works out. It works out. I think that's what I'm so inspired by in general. Like, you know, because everyone's born with a skill set, and 95% of people don't actually utilize that skill set for whatever reason, right? I'm so inspired by you because you actually built, really, I mean, like your body of work is insane, right? You've done so much. And you've built a true career and a body of work based on what was like divinely given to you, right? And I mean, you've done so much, but if you had to think about like your proudest moment, what would that be?
Proudest moment, professionally?
Well, yeah, outside of Bo, right?
outside of the start of the show.
Yeah.
Professionally, I'm gonna say Fat Albert, right?
Fat Albert. Okay, I think we can actually on StreamYard we can actually put that up, Fela, if you get a chance. The Fat Albert. Okay.
The reason I'm going to say Fat Albert is because that's when I kind of discovered my gift of being a universe builder, right?
A universe builder, you know, and you know, I've had a few conversations, and when you say that, you know, I think it's just so poignant. It's so poignant, right? Because then it's like you literally go in, you tell stories, and you make people join this like realm. So yeah, please. So all right. So some people who are watching may not be aware of what you did with Fat Albert. So you just want to like give us a quick run as to what that was in terms of like what this, you know, what brand and etc.
So I got summer '98. I was leaving Mecca. Me and Emmett were designers at Mecca, and I was leaving Mecca. I knew the run had ended. But that summer, I did a whole bunch of big projects. Like I created the first season of Sean John.
The first season of Sean John. You know, remember the first season of Sean John? Hello, like the first season of Sean John. You just mentioned Mecca. You just want to give a shout out. I mean, like to some of the things that you've done, like besides those, like so Sean John, Mecca.
So I did the first season of Sean John, and that summer I did the first season of Sean John. I did the FUBU NBA license, and I did and one wanted the NCAA license, so I did that, and I did Twism that summer with Jeff Tweedy and Shaq.
But yeah.
I did. I'm not gonna remember everything.
So many. Okay, but for Fat Albert, the Fat Albert series, that was for FUBU.
Right. So I was leaving Mecca, and a few companies were like courting me like to be their, you know, head designer.
Right.
Head design.
Right.
And so I get to FUBU, and this is when they were at like 350 million. So I didn't really want to go, but I was like, I'm gonna throw out a number, and if they say yeah, I'm gonna go. So I just pulled a number. I pulled a number out of the sky. They didn't even blink. It was like, all right. And
which made you say immediately I should have gone higher, right?
Right. So I joined the team when we were in the contract negotiations. I was like, one of the things I want a sub brand that I'm a partner in, right? And because I had already started conceptualizing that it was going to be like this licensed product. I was obsessed with Iceberg back then, so I knew I wanted to do something.
Remember Iceberg? For those of us who were working in, the Iceberg was it, right?
So I'm walking.
Well, unattainable. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'm walking down the street in Soho one day, and I see one of those like kind of low end stores. They had some Fat Albert product, but it was like real merchy, right? Like printed boxer shorts.
Yeah.
Kind of cheesy underwear looking t-shirts. It was like, I think probably the most expensive item was like $24, maybe a $19 t-shirt.
Right.
So I did it struck me. I was like, oh shit, that's it. Right. So how do I take this concept of Fat Albert and elevate it? Right. So I go back, I find out who the licensor is. It's Hallmark Cards, and I bring that lady in, and come to find out the license for Fat Albert was expiring. So the license for Fat Albert was expiring, and they had never
right,
and they had never really paid that much in royalties. Like in the life of the deal, they had only paid maybe like $30,000 or $35,000 in royalties.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So now I'm going through the FUBU lens of $350 million, and I'm like, we were shipping. So men's was doing like 150 million, right?
Right.
And so that's like 12 million a month, right? So
who negotiated your contract, yo?
I think Toby Shorter.
Was it Toby? I love Toby. All right, all good.
I think it was Toby back then. So they were doing 12 million a month, right? And just like the average executives, Amex was 30,000 a month.
Right.
So like getting to the number that made Hallmark say okay was light
work. Right.
We just backed in, right? Like they was like, Bob, don't OD, right? Don't say nothing crazy. So what I said, look, we can guarantee that we'll do $1 million in sales. That's $100,000 royalty for year one. Here's $10,000 up front it's $20,000 up front, 20% advance on royalties.
Right.
So it was like we made the whole thing with the one company in one check, just signing the deal.
Right.
So I get there in July. The deal is wrapped up by September-ish, maybe October, something like that.
Right.
But it got shelved, right? Because you got to remember, FUBU was doing jerseys, like they was doing, back
then. Yeah.
So they didn't need it. But then what happened was when the jerseys started taking a dip, it was like, yo, Bob, whatever happened with that Fat Albert thing he was working on?
Around the time when Jay-Z dropped Change Clothes, right?
No, it was way before that.
Okay. So that's your proudest design moment.
Right, because I was right.
Right.
Like I was right, and I got to fill a few buckets that I enjoy. Like I enjoy educating people. I enjoy kind of like storytelling. There was some there was some rich history in Fat Albert,
well,
like first black cartoon.
Bringing that back, right? Bringing back the, making it relevant again, right? Making folks want to revisit that, right?
Right. They were able to do a movie deal based off of the clothes selling.
Based on what you did.
Right. So yeah. So
that was when I say that, how you like, right? It's so easy. It's so easy. Yeah.
So yeah. That was a proud moment. I was right. It was well done. It was really well done. Like that. The team of designers that I worked with on that, like.
Yeah, no, we definitely bought, like my brother, me, like in our whole crew, we were definitely the consumer, right? We definitely had a lot of Fat Albert FUBU stuff. And it's interesting because I wasn't, I'm going to say this out loud, but I wasn't very drawn to FUBU before that. I wasn't really drawn to the brand as much until I started seeing that, because then it was like, oh, this is really for the culture. You know what I mean? And I felt more drawn to it because I definitely watched Fat Albert when I was coming up. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
And so, okay, that's your proudest design. What's your proudest moment? Professionally, not Blake, not the baby.
Wait, say, what was the question again? What was my proudest moment?
Yeah, proudest moment. I think we could probably take the Fat Albert down, Fela. Your proudest moment.
I'll tell you a proud moment. It took me a long time it took me 7 years to finally use Bobby Joseph as the brand name for my company. So, like, what is the meme you see all over Instagram? It's like doubt kills more
dreams
than
dreams. Right. Yeah, all day. Yeah.
So you're just so it was just a lot of like I overcame doubting myself. For years I was just like trying to come up with cute names for stuff. Like I bought the AACA trademark out of bankruptcy. Was it bankruptcy? It was out of bankruptcy. I bought the AACA trademark like when I was 27, right? And I, because I was running away from doing Bobby Joseph, so I was looking for something else to
name it, to name what you
to
name
doing. It. Right. And what happens is that shit is crazy distracting. Right. It'd be like, what I mean? Like trying to come up with creating universes for some other thing. Right. So when I finally landed on, I'm going to do Bobby Joseph, it was really freeing. And it was a proud moment, like another proud moment as it relates to that is like getting a domain name. Right. Like, because for a long time, it was a hairdresser out of Atlanta.
Yeah, Drina, she's had the clapping hands. Like, yeah, I mean, that's something to celebrate, because I think what it also represents in terms of not to disrupt the thought on a domain name, but what it also represents is you betting on yourself and betting on your name. So like the significance is so much greater, right, than just standing behind your name. It's like I'm putting myself on my back, right, which is dope.
It was challenging, especially because it's hard to design for yourself. Like, all the designer, creative people on here, you all know, whether you're a musician or apparel designer, like you're your own worst critic, right?
The people in our heads, though, like I'm not even a creative. By the way, I'm not really a creative, but like the people in our head are like the worst. You know what I mean?
Right. And they loud too, right?
They
loud. And they sound right. They sound right. They like, that shit ain't gonna sell.
Ain't gonna sell. What you doing, yo?
Right, and then you got that other little mousy voice, very faint, that you gotta close your eyes and squint and squeeze your ears to hear. Yes. and you hear that mousy voice, and they're really that voice is articulate, and that voice is like,
but
that voice sounds
clear, right?
It's clear. That voice is articulate, clear, and it sounds like it's telling the truth, right? Like that voice sound like it would never lie to you, right?
Right.
And so yeah, so like you have this other section of just like people in your head that's yelling at you. That's whack. Don't nobody want that.
Sorry. Sorry about that. I lost you for a second.
That's all good. That's all good. You got somebody says, how do you drown out that voice? Silence. You have to, like, you hear it all the time. Like one of the people I'm working with right now, Max from Hood Hat, he says this every day when we talk. He's like, I gotta meditate on it. I love the way that sounds.
Right.
Because what he's saying is, I need to sleep on it. I need some silence to hear that voice.
Exactly.
I need all y'all to shut up over there. I need to listen to that one thing.
Right.
And because that voice guy just steps in everything. Should I buy that house? Should my kid go to that school? Should I?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Should I wear these bright ass shoes to church? You know what I mean? Like.
Right. And look in the mirror, and that voice in your head is like, if you don't take that, you know what I'm saying? If you don't take them shoes off, like, right. But it's always negative. And like you said, it's not necessarily articulate, but it's loud. It's loud.
Actually, it's probably not articulate. The negative section is probably not articulate at all. They're probably like goofy
it's your
dummies,
past.
Right?
It's where you grew up. It's the past. It's like, they always like, word. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Right. Yeah. You trying to be one of them, right?
Right. No one's gonna believe you, yo. Like, no one's gonna believe you still the same chick you were. No, trust me. I understand. I understand.
So Max says it every day that we talk, right? He's like, I gotta meditate on it. And that tagline that he says to me was articulating what we're talking about. How do you quiet the voice? You gotta go meditate on it. You gotta go be quiet. You gotta go darken the shades. You know what I'm saying? You gotta turn off the music. You gotta go get off the phone, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
and don't ask other people who are not in your cheering section. Don't then go to the person that you know is gonna. I mean, I think that it's good to have people who are going to challenge you, but I do think that everyone knows who's gonna be negative. Right. So you might not want to go to the most negative person.
We all call them because it's familiar. It's like you decide to go vegan and then go back to the old hood to the burger spot. Like, it's gonna be hard to hard to, like, so it's comfortable and so.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So basically just putting yourself on your back and trying to quiet the noise in your head and making Bobby Joseph the brand. I mean, how much success has there been since then? Like, I mean, you've done so many things, and so I always like you always emphasize you don't emphasize it, but I've always noticed how you use storytelling to launch brands, right? So it's not just that you're buying a shirt or you're buying an idea, right? You're buying into a story. And I think, even that's genius. And it takes us back into the thought about realms and universe that you create when you bring us a story around a design. Did you always do that?
No, it's learned. It's learning. And no, I always did it and didn't know I was doing it. That's the real answer. The real answer is my first 2 Black Too Strong t-shirt when I was in college. I followed, that was in 1989. in 1990, I followed it up with a remix of it. Right? I didn't know I was actually trying to build a franchise around it. I just knew like, oh, this is a good idea. Maybe I should update it because it sold so well.
Right.
So when I was, so back then I was doing it and didn't know I was doing it. UCLA used to, in California, UCLA used to play, teams around the state and in their conference.
Right.
And when they used to play USC early on, that was a big rivalry in the city, right? So either you went to UCLA or USC. So USC created a T-shirt. The frats created a T-shirt that said FUCLA, right? And
Wow.
and UCLA created a T-shirt that said PUSC, right?
Right.
And so these T-shirts, just like they were kind of like legendary, and they sold tons on each other's campuses around the city. So eventually, like I got word of this, and when we played UCLA, you there? When we played UCLA, I did a FUCLA T-shirt, and that was building a franchise back then because that year we took it on the road. So wherever UCLA played, we traveled to that city and sold T-shirts. So they played Arizona State, or they played Cal Berkeley, or they played San Jose State, or they played wherever they went, we went and sold T-shirts. And a lot of those places, some of those places weren't even aware that this thing exists. So they were just anyway. So
wow.
back then.
But you were doing T-shirts with big ideas. So even like you designed for McDonald's, right?
Right.
How did that come about?
Steve Stout.
Steve Stout. Okay. How did that happen? Yeah. What happened there?
Steve. So we me and my partner Spencer Chan, we done a lot of business with Stout and Reebok. And we had a company called Break and Trust, and eventually me and Spencer kind of parted ways. This ended Break and Trust, but I kept a relationship with Stout around that time. And after the Jay-Z sneaker is when we parted ways.
Which is another thing, which is like another. We haven't even got into the Jay-Z sneaker, right?
Right, so he maybe just a few years later, he called me out of the blue, with his urgency. It's like, yo, I need you to design uniforms for McDonald's. And there was no briefing, it was just a deadline, right? Like his agency had already booked my flight for Chicago, so it was like,
oh wow.
It's due that day.
Ready or not, you going, right? Like this
is it. The car service will be out front. Yo, I need to be in the car.
Right.
So that's how that happened, and so we flew out to Chicago, and it was a pitch, what McDonald's North America uniforms would look like, and so I just took it. It was the things eyes roll in the back of my head. It's like, okay, I got it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slice up the country into climate, and I'm gonna slice it up into region. So I went from Hawaii to New York, and then I did top, middle, and bottom of the country. So I did uniforms based off of needing pants, shorts, sweaters, long sleeves, blah blah blah. And then for like the men's ones, and then like there was indicators like this is a regular staff or this is a manager, and the way I did that was the way I differentiated regular staff from managers was I did like in the military, they usually have some shoulder detail if you're high ranking. Right. So I put like shoulder detail on.
Yeah, I'm looking at the designs on StreamYard. So yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's amazing.
And then I took their heritage. So like that necktie is like has grimace on it, right? Like so back to the iceberg thing and their
right. You know, I feel like you've been great at being at the right place at the right time. And I mean, granted, I do think that the timing, I mean, there was a lot of greatness happening in the 90s, right? A lot of great things happening in the 90s and early 2000s. But I feel like you've always been part of like iconic moments, right? And so
I'm for sure Forrest Gump.
Right.
I'm absolutely
I love that. Like I love okay, Bobby Joseph is Forrest Gump, right? Because Forrest Gump was part of everything, right? Like
yeah, he was part of like Nike and Apple Computer, right? Like I'm definitely Forrest Gump. Definitely, yeah.
And so, I mean, so the Jay-Z sneaker. I mean, so kind of take us through like what you mean by kind of being part of all these iconic moments.
So, like the Jay-Z sneaker, they didn't ask us to do it.
Right.
So we went down to Peter Arnell Group to Stout's office to have a meeting about Reebok stuff, right? And he goes into this, you know, he's telling us, you know, he was using us as a sounding board in retrospect. Like, what do you think? It was a nice rollout. Like, we're gonna do. When he said it, he was like, we're gonna do a Jay-Z sneaker at Reebok, and my face was like, Reebok.
Right.
Whack. And then he started peeling back the layers. He was like, he said we want to sign golfers, and I was like, okay. And then another layer is like, we're gonna attach some we're gonna attach it. We're gonna build off of the Gucci 1984. And I was just like, not. So my partner didn't grow up in that, you know, that dope boy era. So he didn't even get it. I'm just in the seat like, yo, what? So we leave. We go down to his car. He has a car out front. Pops the trunk and pulls it out, and they knocked off and this proto sample was the exact knockoff of the Gucci 1984. It had the nylon quarter panels. It had the tape up the back.
Wow.
And my head popped off. I was like, this is, and that like, this, in addition to me being like, Forrest Gump, got a little Quincy Jones in me. Like, I know a hit.
Right.
Like, I know a hit. Like,
right. As soon as you see it, right?
Or as soon as you say like your tone is right or your something, the hand gesture is right, I'll be like, that's a hit.
That's it.
And so he showed it, and my head popped off. So we leave, me and Spence, we go jump on the subway, couple stops because we're on like Prince, and we're on our office is on 19. And the whole way I'm on there like what's my man? Like J Love. You know how like everybody talk like J Love. So I'm on there like, yo, right? I'm like, and Spence is looking at me like, oh, okay, whatever you say. So I'm running back. I run back in the office. I open up a brown bag and I just start sketching furiously. You see this? And he's like, no. And I'm like, no. See this? So eventually he starts warming up like, oh, okay. So what it is the first shoe was already done, right? The 1984 Gucci was already done. So in my mind, I'm like, they need to build on the franchise. What's number two?
Right.
So they was talking about golf. I'm like, let's do tennis. So the second shoe was like this idea of tennis. And then so we slept in the office for like 2 days on the desks. And we just banged it out. Like the presentation it's still ill. Like it's like because it was like the shoe, and the marketing presentation all in one. So I called Stout like 2-3 days later and was like, yo, I need a meeting. And you know, he's like, about what? I'm like, bro, just tell him to put me on the calendar.
Right.
So I go up to the office, and he was like, y'all did this in 3 days? I'm like, we did this in 2. We did this in a day. And he's like,
wow.
what? And so, and again,
And
they didn't ask us.
You know what's interesting is that, and then you know, when you and I just kind of catch up, you'll kind of bring up like the importance of the sneaker, which I'm fascinated by, right? And I got a chuckle off of it, but like, so do you want to walk us through the importance of the sneaker in terms of your designs and what you've created in your body of work?
So I've been trying to figure out, like, trying to coin what my design philosophy for apparel is,
right?
With where I am, and it's dope. It's drug dealer chic, right? Like, it's drug dealer chic.
It's D-boy chic, Bobby.
My earpiece.
Oh, I lost
my earpiece is about to die.
It's D-boy chic.
It's dope. It's drug dealer chic, right? And it's because I came up in the 80s. Right. In the 80s, drug dealers looked to tennis. Tennis was aspirational, right? So, that's Bjorn Borg, that's Andre Agassi, Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe, right? So Yannick Noah.
Yeah.
So all the drug dealers was looking at them sweatsuits and the polo shirts and the shorts, and they had the logos with the Italian companies and the French companies, and so that's what they wanted to look like, right? Like, because that stuff was aspirational. Aspirational was hard to get. You had to go downtown. You had to go over the bridge. You had to, it was hard to get, right?
Right.
And the importance of the sneaker comes from when you wear that look, those $400 sweatsuits back in '86, right? Which is that would be the equivalent of like a $4,000 sweatsuit now,
right? That our boy Kenya Barris is wearing on.
Right. They're drawn from the same inspiration. So when you wear Head, Prince, Sergio Tacchini, I see you.
Yeah.
You can't wear no Stacey Adams.
Right.
You can't wear like Gucci loafers. Right. You got to wear sneakers.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying, like, my design aesthetic is from like drug dealer chic, that drug dealer era from the 80s, right? Where the sneaker was extremely important because, that's when athleisure started kind of like taking hold. And so here we are 30, 40 years later, and it hasn't changed.
No, it's never going to change. It's never going to change.
Never say never, but
in terms of like, so the style may change, whereas back when I was in, I used to wear everything baggy, right? So everything on me so it went from baggy to juicy outfits. Everybody had multiple juicy outfits, right? Whether you had the body for it or not, right? And
that's that too, right?
It's all
the basics of it.
And so the styles may change, but in terms of like, it's going to remain. I just can't see a time where you're not going to just try to have a easy throw on when you're trying to get fresh. Like, it's just easy. It's like, I'm gonna put on that outfit, right? Like, I got my outfit. So I mean, what were you saying?
I was just saying that's why that's why I say like the sneakers are important. Right? Because it's the center of that universe.
Right. And I guess, so what have you been influenced by? Because I know you have these gifts, but what has influenced you in terms of being able to storytell and just, this idea of telling a story and kind of bringing people into a realm or a universe?
What made it, what crystallized it in terms of, that's what I'm doing, is when I saw, that's how Marvel describes it. Marvel Comics, they describe it as a Marvel universe. And I was like, okay. There's a relationship between Black Panther and Iron Man. Okay, there's a junior asset here. They drive this car appears over here and appears over here. So it's all kind of interconnected.
It's all connected, right?
It's all connected. So when I saw them, when I read that term, and I don't know, it felt like a long time ago. It kind of cemented. Oh, that's what I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's next, Bobby? I mean, you've done a million things. Like what do we have to look forward to? I know we have Prince coming up. We have Two Black, Two Proud. What is it? Is that what
Too strong? Black, too strong. So
Two Black, Too
yeah.
strong. And I personally love what you're doing in terms of like your inspiration around African Prince. I've been watching, your storytelling on your social media. Yeah. And do you want to walk us through some of that?
Yeah, that's good. This is a good call.
Yeah, so on StreamYard, for those of us on IG Live, we can't see what we have on the other screen in terms of the actual designs that are being pulled up. But like, walk us through how you came to this space.
So I went to Morocco in, I think it must have been like 07.
Yeah, I need my shorts too, Legacy Builder. Yeah. I need my shorts too.
Yeah. So I went to Morocco in like 07, and I went like prepared to be inspired by Africa, right? And even though it's not traditional Black Africa, it's still like there's still this incredible graphic inspiration that you can just draw from the continent, right? So I've always been very Pan-African, in terms of like my thinking and so when I went 07, 08, no, that'd be earlier, maybe 06, 07, it sharpened the focus, and I would kind of like do little things here and there and not feel confident about it, right? And then I did these bucket hats out of West African Ankara fabric. Ankara means family, right? So like so I did these West African Ankara hats. I think I used maybe like 10 different patterns, and and they just flew. Out of here. Like, I own one, right? Like, it's just gone.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, there's something here. And the stuff is so beautiful, so graphic, and so colorful that just over time, I've just been sharpening the blade, just polishing a piece of coal. It's something there.
But you've been sitting on this for 12 years. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but no, I would do a little this here and a little that there, but more recently, I like the juxtaposition of African graphic assets and Western silhouettes. So like the hoodie, the track pant, the soccer short, the bucket hat, the long visor, fisherman, all those things. I love those silhouettes. Like that's where I'm from, what's important to me.
Right.
But now I just kind of make those two
you kind of married, you kind of married them, or put them in the same. So always, so we have
Spencer right there just joined. Hey, Spencer.
Oh, Spencer joined. Zach joined. Hey, Zach. So I know that we're running low. We're running short on time on this. We've actually gone 57 minutes, and they're going to cut us off in the hour. We're happy to go back and go back in because I know we have a lot. I want to really kind of dive into what's coming next in terms of Fela and some of the other things you have the show. Okay. So just wanted to put that out there that we will come back. Okay. But so Fela's next, right? And so so that's your draw to Africa, but what drew you to Fela?
So jump backwards, like I'm doing Platinum Fubu Fat Albert in 2000, I think that's when it launched. I know it launched. It launched in 2000 in April, and we're doing a photo shoot, big photo shoot. Like I rented a Lamborghini and dogs and dog trainers, and Yeah, like everybody was getting it like
that was a Hype Williams
late.
era. That was a Hype Williams era. We did everything big.
Right. Didn't use any of the images of the Lamborghini, but I had all the stuff. But what I'll never forget from that photo shoot was the stylist that we used. I can't remember his name. I can see his face clear as day. He had Fela, the best of Fela, cranking on the system. I mean, it was just like, and it didn't feel at all familiar, right? Like it wasn't like, oh yeah, I remember my father playing that. No, it did not feel at all familiar. And I was just like, what is this? Right. This is crazy. So he's like, oh, that's the best of Fela. I immediately left that day, like went down to like Tower Records or.
And this is 2000. This is 2000.
Yes.
Wow.
So like Fela's always been in the arsenal since then, right? But in terms of what is making him scale, it might just be in the ether, right? Like I don't know why he's becoming more important to me. But the more I read, and my girlfriend at the time, and when the musical came out, she took me to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I definitely saw it on Broadway. Right.
Yeah, I was struck by that. Like, so it's been a slow build for Fela,
Right.
And then I did the sweatshirt in October for his birthday, and it just cooked.
Took fire.
I was just right. I was right. I was like, now
we're looking at this, the power hit with one of your designs here.
The power show. This is the capsule that's on the way. So the 2.0 for Fela. The 2.0 is I named this group Power Show. That's one of his records. And I just. It was the inspiration was drawn from the picture of him playing ping pong in his underwear. So I just built a universe out of him playing ping pong in his underwear.
I love it. I can't wait. To I just feel it's something special when you're wearing something that speaks to
that's
you.
His son right there. That's Femi. That's not Fela. That's Femi.
It's great. It's great. Because I really want to, I want to get into what's coming up next, but I really also, because you've been doing it for so long, Bobby, and I think so much of what you've done, you take for granted because you've been doing it, right? And it's natural for you. Hey, what's up, Nikki? So I think that, so much of what you do, you kind of take for granted because you're so good at it. But once upon a time, you were like a young designer, right? And you didn't really know what you were going to do. Right, you didn't know you were going to become what you are today. You didn't know that. Oh, okay. So tell me. Yes, let me guess. Let me guess.
I always wanted to be a designer. Well, I have never deviated from my career path. Right. Like I knew I wanted to do this in high school.
Love it.
I had a. I was an art editor for the yearbook in high school, and she gave me a B. She gave me a B, and I had a staff of like, I don't know, on my team, I think there was like 4 or 5 designers. My father flipped out. He was like, a B? But he's the boss. Like, how you get a B? Because everybody on my staff got like an A. He was like, wait, what? Right. So she was like, he's not good at delegating work. He's like, that doesn't make any sense. So you give him a B because he does all the work.
Right.
So she gave me an A minus. That was that.
Yeah.
Maybe an A minus to.
Cut out for a second, but yeah. She gave you an A minus to make up for the B.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I always knew what I wanted to do, and then when I was in college, I went down and stayed with AZ and Carl Kanai for a week. And because I was a graphic designer specifically before that, right?
Right.
I liked doing clothes, but I wasn't certain. There was no real way for me to understand how I was going to make clothes happen. And
right.
So I went down and lived with them for a week in college. And I was like, if they offer me a job, I'm dropping out of school. But Carl never liked me, so no job was offered. But I went back to school and was like, I'm gonna be a clothing designer, right? And so since my background is so heavily tied to graphic design, all my clothes always have like a graphic slant, right? There's always like the focal point of my stuff is that there's a graphic element to it. But yeah.
So I guess what kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to, build their life in design and what does it take?
Man, I don't want to say any cliches, right? Like
no, but the thing about it is that if the cliche is applicable, then
yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, because if you want to talk about, like we talked about it already, about silencing the doubt, right? Because you probably, if you want, let's say you're 37 years old and you're like, I want to be a clothing designer, right? Like old Bobby would have been like, you too old.
Right. Right.
That ain't me now. That ain't me now. But me now is like, you dig in, right?
It doesn't matter how old you are. Dig in.
Dig in. So I guess that's my advice. My advice is to dig in, and it's hard to do, right? The older you get, the more kind of responsibilities you have. It's more challenging to dig in. So my best advice is to dig in and dig in young, but sometimes people don't arrive at that point young. But if you hear that whisper, I want to do clothes, dig in.
Follow it. And even if you're older, so I kind of feel like, I saw someplace, all of us are reading more, right? Like I said, all of us are reading more because all of us have a lot more time, right? And so just like, don't ignore a hunch. Like, don't ignore a hunch, because sometimes a hunch could really be, a hunch is kind of your intuition. And intuition is like God speaking to you, right? And so when you ignore a hunch, you're kind of betting against yourself, right? And so if you have a hunch, follow it. I mean, you might not always, like you said, Fela, it was how many years in the making? 20 years in the making.
No, is it? Oh, yeah. Yeesh.
Yo, 19, 20 years.
Right, yeah.
That your ears peaked. And you know what I'm saying? So we're talking about, it doesn't have to be right at the time that the hunch comes. But if you're interested in it, it just kind of it stays with you, right? But don't ignore it, because there's something there, and it might not be instant, or you might want to just jot it down and kind of continue to look at it.
I'd like to challenge anybody on this that's following. If they haven't heard Fela before, like if he's brand new, I would like you to listen to Lady. Loudly, and tell me, like, I want to know, is it possible to hear Lady or Water Get No Enemy, hear one of those two records and it not punch you in the face? Like, is it possible to hear those and not like them? Is that, like, I wonder, is that possible?
I can't wait to listen. I wish
you never heard those?
No, I haven't.
What?
I haven't.
And I'm
the passion is like, okay, I can't wait.
I don't even know how that's like. So you're perfect. Like, hit me later and be like, yo, I listened. I played it loud on the house speakers. I played Lady. I played Water Get No Enemy, and let me know. Like, see if you get the same feeling I felt in 2000.
All right, bet. It's on. I'm on it. Wait, Nick said, yeah, she feels the music deeply. So I can't.
No, she said I do. She said,
Bobby feels it. Oh, okay.
I didn't know I did, but I go, okay. Fela. So, hey, Jess, the artist's name is Fela, Fela. His last name is Kuti. I'll type it in here. I just challenge anybody to listen to Fela.
So ironically, my partner, her name is Fela, right?
Right.
And she's producing the StreamYard over on the other screen. Do we have any other images to show of the work that you're doing with Fela?
Me? Oh no, that'd be
Fela.
you're actually talking to Fela.
Yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
Mm-hmm.
Is that him or his son? That's him.
His son? Is that his son? Is that him?
No, that's him.
So you were just kind of turned out by this experience and decided to create a whole line around the feeling around the music, and him playing ping pong in his drawers, right? Like, which I
oh yeah. Yeah, so like and that's why this is the sample of the blank sweatshirt before we get busy on it this week. So the first one was just a regular pink color. It was actually kind of like a dusty rose, and I did it in dusty rose and I did it in black, right? And the dusty rose or the pink sold like 10.
So it's my favorite. It's my favorite.
You got the pink one, right? Yeah.
The dusty rose. That one.
So
I love it.
It sold like 10 to 1. Right? Like, and people pushed me. Like, I did a poll. Should I do black? Should I do? They was like, and the poll was almost 50-50. Do black. So I did black. The pink just, it wasn't even close. So that's why I'm doing pink again as one of the colors in the offer. And so back up. So I knew.
Facebook, it's on Facebook, but it's not on. We can't do it on IG Live. I'd just be too sloppy. But when we do post production, we'll have it on the post production side. So
after that sold in October, I was like, something in me was like, I know I need to do. Nick, I'll text you. I know I need to do a follow-up, right? So I'm researching, building mood boards and and I come across this image of Fela playing ping pong in his underwear, and he had on like these like Speedo micro briefs, right? Like he got his underwear on, no shirt, with all the energy, with all the Fela, right? And I'm looking at it like, yo,
this is it.
Crazy. Like, I ain't never seen nothing like this in my life. Yeah, you see the image right there. So I was like, back to building a universe. So I saw that and I was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back in time and I'm gonna create a ping pong social club that Fela created.
Love it. Right.
So I created this universe of him having this ping pong social club. So one of the most famous African Ankara prints is the speed bird, right? And everybody's seen it. It's like a polka dot pattern, and inside the polka dots is a silhouette of the bird, right? So like everybody's seen it, right?
Google's Fela and
right. So everybody's seen this speed bird pattern, right? And I've used it. I made some shorts out of it. Like I've dumbed out over the years with it, right? But I never knew what it was called.
Right.
So when more recently, I met this fellow designer, Junie, and she just in passing, she said, "Oh, there's something Speedbird." And I was like, "That's the name of that? That name is crazy. Wow. That name is crazy."
Right.
So I named this fictitious social club, the Speedbird Racket Club in Lagos, Nigeria, right? So so now it's easy to build out of that. So what I built out of that was I did a hoodie, I did a t-shirt, I did a sock, I did a ping pong paddle.
Right, which you told me you did, and so as a result, y'all, I ordered a ping pong table.
Yo,
that will be here in time, hopefully, to get to tell them I'm gonna order my ping pong rackets and to play ping pong, which I'm not sure I can play, but I need the rackets.
Right. And then so before this call, I was on a call with I'll type it in with Round 21. Incredible brand. I want y'all to go check them out.
Yeah. And, so the discussion, because I was,
Yeah, so I talked. We had a conference call.
Wait, Bob, that's not actually the name, though. Remember, that's not actually.
Oh yeah, it's like we are. It's like we are. Yeah.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it. We are 21, right?
Yeah, we are around 21. But so I had a conversation with them today. She had never heard of Fela. She had never heard of me, but a mutual friend connected us, and great conversation. And she's creating a universe around ping pong. So we're gonna collaborate going forward on doing.
Oh, happy you guys collaborate.
Yeah, we're gonna do a even crazier Round 21 times Bobby Joseph times Fela Kuti ping pong paddle.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my table by I think June 21st. So
you might have a paddle. You might have both sets of paddles, because the laser ones we're doing, those will be ready next week, and then we're doing the ones with Round 21 right after that.
I'm hyped. Now, mind you, I can't play ping pong, and neither can my kids. So there'll be more ping pongs flying off our rooftop than actually being played. But it won't matter.
Right.
My rackets go.
Your racket game crazy.
It's gonna be crazy.
So you need to be a charter member of the Speedbird Racket.
I'll be a lifetime member of the Speedbird Racket Club. I'm in. Bobby, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan, and I've been a fan for so long, and I'm always looking to see what's next, because I think you always kind of keep your finger on the pulse of what's next, and I've told you, I'll see a design, I'll be scrolling through my social media, and I'm like, yo, I saw something that you did, and you're like, how'd you know I did that? I'm like, because I know you did it. I know that was you. Yeah. I tend to know that if I'm drawn to it, it's typically it's from someplace, right? And you stay so low with it.
Yeah. Hold on one second. I need some power on this phone. Yeah, I have a hard time tooting my own horn, right? It sounds kind of crazy coming out of my mouth to me, and people like you always
crazy.
Right. All y'all be mad, like, yo, talk your ish,
right?
But so yeah, I got the Fela 2.0 collection. It's called Power Show. That's coming out. Power Show. I pushed that back to June 15th.
Okay.
Around June 15th ish, right? Because I got two things in front of it. One of the things I have in front of it is the redux of Too Black, Too Strong, and it's kind of like it's kind of me patting myself on the back.
So wait, so Nick said that, so I was telling Bobby that, like, his pieces, right? When he made that been in this game for years, like, I'm telling you, like, you connect us to an era, you connect us to a feeling, right? So, but when I put that t-shirt on my now 5-year-old, but she was like, this was like 4 years ago, right? So
yeah, I did one specifically for 1-year-olds. I did one that said, I've been in this game for a year.
Right. So I remember putting that on her and taking it, like, it was the first time kind of going out. We went to a diner. She loved boiled eggs, and she took the egg yolk and she smashed it on her face. And I have a picture of it. And the shirt was just it was just so perfect. And I won't throw Bobby Joseph stuff away. Like, I'm gonna have that. It has like all kinds of punch drips on it. Like, it's nasty. But I will never. Every single drip and drop has a story. Right? Like,
This is the.
Oh, wow, look at that.
This is the building on the franchise of that.
And so wait, is this new or is this something
No,
that
that's old. Every year for my anniversary in New York, I do something. That's what they've been in this game for years. I see Astor joined it. We did a tattoo. I did a tattoo for him, similar.
Oh wow!
I told it. If he didn't join, I would have never remembered. But that made me think of it. But so I did the T-shirt for my anniversary. Every year I do my anniversary in New York. I do something. I used to do parties and stuff. Now I just do T-shirts. So.
Yo, New Yorking sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
On, like it punches you in the face too, which I love.
Yeah, so like a lot of people that I know, got to New York at some point. So I put there's a mark on the sleeve that you're supposed to write the year you kind of been New Yorking since. That's what that was about. Yeah, God is good tattoo. Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so been in the game for a year. So been in this game for years. That's from a Biggie line, right? It's all tied to music. A lot of it's tied, references music.
And the Eric president, like when you came out with that during an election year, like last election year, and like that. I have like classic pictures of my kids wearing that T-shirt. That was crazy.
Right.
But you just come out with these pieces that are I'm never throwing them away. Like and Akina agreed, like never throwing it away. Like I'm gonna keep it for forever. Like I told you, I'm trying to figure out a way to frame it without being corny, but like a Bobby Joseph wall, right?
No. I'll send you a postcard or something. Maybe you could just put that in the bathroom.
Right. Well, something dope, but just to kind of like the time and kind of take us back to an era of how we felt. But I mean, yes, we could talk probably forever. We haven't touched upon so many things that you've done and you're doing, and we could probably have a series, Bobby.
What up, Andy?
I would love for you to have your own series, right? But I can kind of like I won't put you on the spot right now, but I guess any parting words for those of us that are, that need some inspiration, Bobby Joseph.
Well, first let me thank you for agreeing to chop it up.
Yeah.
What up, L'Oreal? And Drina, your son didn't wear the you said saving it for your grandchildren. You ain't say your son didn't wear it? Anyway.
A minute, but I don't know. It could be wrong.
I don't know. Yeah. But I want to say thank you. I appreciate this, because I really what I learned from the last go round with the Fela T-shirt and sweatshirt was one of the reasons for its success was I got out of my comfort zone and did some storytelling. This is what the music sounds like. Here's some images of him. Here's what I know about him. Go check out this, this movie. Like I did. I talked about it more, right? And so that was a learning from that project. It was building up to that. I'd done it before, but before, back in the day, we had budgets and things like that. So this time is a lot more intimate, right? It's, my 100 closest friends and customers or whatever who buy sight unseen. Like, yo, I say I'm coming out. I got like 25 people that I text like something's on the way, and they just start cash apping and Venmo.
Right. Like when I hit you up, I'm like, I need, and you're like, size, color. Right. Yeah, no. Dave Lighty says like, build the brand. Like, you've been building a brand for so long.
Right. So I want to say thank you because. This is kind of like I started the storytelling using some of my creative colleagues to help do playlists, and like Mike Hobbs is doing the craziest watercolor that we're gonna make a poster. So let me tell you about this watercolor that Mike Hobbs is doing.
Oh, tell me about it.
Mike Hobbs. So we was brainstorming about Fela playing. He was playing ping pong in his Speedos, right?
Right.
And so we get to talk and chop it up, and Mike is like the craziest, like artists I've ever worked with. One of them. He's really, really outstanding. And I said, Mike, I've had I see Sekou on here. I was like, Sekou did a playlist. He did an incredible playlist that hasn't dropped yet for this Fela Power Show, right?
Right.
It's actually more than a playlist. It's a mixtape. So I asked Mike Hobbs, I want you to contribute to this, and we get to brainstorming. And I said, yo, I want you to do your paint and illustration style of like Fela in some dynamic pose playing. He's like, yo, let's make it real Nigerian, right? With the slippers and the silk robe and the underwear holding
right.
So like it's this poster is gonna be Fela playing ping pong in a silk cheetah print robe with his Speedos on, smoking a cigarette. It's crazy.
I can't wait.
Insane. It's insane.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
right.
So we're gonna.
Now, will it be like a limited amount of prints that you can get? Like, how are you guys rolling it out?
Yeah, it'll start off limited, but if there's demand for 11,000 prints, yes, we will be making.
We're gonna do it. Right. That's all good. As long as I wanted the 11,000.
Right, but we'll hand sign them and do all that. We're
gonna. No, I love it. I like it. Listen, art is art, and everything about you, and even the way that you frame pieces. I've seen the way you do your framing is creative as well. Like you don't just do the regular box frame that everybody else does. You tend to get a little, creative with the way that you frame your pieces as well.
Yeah. I mean,
like I am creative, right? So,
that's what I do.
Makes sense, right? So, any parting words, Bobby Joseph, for those of us who are still on here? Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so happy that we're able to do this.
Thank you for having me. Thanks for the people who joined to listen. I know we're going to package this up and we'll present it.
We'll have clips and different things like that, right? For sure.
But I really wanted to. I was less inclined to talk about my past stuff, right? I don't want to get stuck down memory lane. I want to move forward.
But I do think it's important for people to know what you've done, right?
Okay.
Hey, Ashley, just because that doesn't go away. Your body of work is your body of work, and I think that it's important to make your mark, to let people know who the F you are, let them know, talk it ish. So I'm happy that you agreed to come on and talk your ish, and I can't wait for us to continue the conversation. I really can't wait to get my rackets, my all the things you're coming out with. I can't wait to rock it hard.
Yeah, so thank you. And I can't wait for this to be packaged up so people really can kind of get into my brain and the other creatives' brains. Dante worked on it. A bunch of people. Jay Corbin, Corey Roberts, Sekou. A lot of people worked on it. To build this universe around this Fela project, because and really I want you to listen to it tonight and text me.
As soon as we get off, I want everyone's listening to Lady and
Water Get No Enemy.
Get No Enemy. Yeah, no, I'm listening to that as soon as we disconnect.
Loud. So, wake up the kids.
Loud. I gotta Them kids, they go to bed after me now. Like on Friday, it's like it's Friday.
right. We can watch TV. Yeah.
All day. So, Bobby Joseph, you are amazing. You are the humble genius. Keep on winning. And I think that I speak for everybody on here that says that we're rooting for you, and we can't wait to see what you got up your sleeve next.
Thank you. I appreciate
Pun intended, right? Sleeve. Yeah. I'm corny. Sorry.
Over my head.
I'm corny. But thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. And all right. Keep winning, Bobby. All right.
This podcast was brought to you by 23DB Productions, ID Productions, and One of One Productions. For more information, go to Facebook and Instagram, Unexpected Success with Joy.